This episode is powered by Specialized Recruiting Group in Livonia, helping businesses find top-tier talent and professionals land their next big opportunity. Welcome to Ghosted by the Machine, the podcast where job seekers break through the algorithm and finally get heard. No filters, no bots, just real stories from real people navigating today's hiring system. I'm your host, Mark Lane, and today we're giving the mic to someone who spent his career helping creative teams bring big ideas to life while keeping the operational side running smoothly. Carl Weld is a creative production and operation leader based in Reading, Massachusetts. Carl, welcome to Ghosted by the Machine.
Thanks, Mark. Glad to be here. A little over, I don't want to age myself, but, I've been doing this for a long time, everything from executing work to building teams, process, and structure to help creative and marketing ideas come to life.
So what kinds of roles are you pursuing right now, and how long you've been looking for a new job?
So I've been looking since the beginning of last November. I'm looking for leadership roles in creative operations or creative production, whether at agencies or with in-house creative departments. I've worked in both.
So creative leadership is all about collaboration and storytelling and the human connection. What has it felt like navigating a hiring system that often, puts candidates like us to keywords, filters, and automated systems? How does that make you feel?
Unheard. It's interesting. My field is all about connecting people with products. And, right now you and I are the product and, we're trying to connect with people, but, the system is structured in such a way that, at least step one, phase one, there's no human connection. So it's hard to collaborate or communicate when you're basically talking to a machine.
Yeah. It's been interesting learning how to navigate AI, utilizing it, but then also having it come back at you with those Dear John letters with no feedback.
Right. AI is becoming, it's big in every field. It's becoming more and more prevalent in my field. And, I'm excited about using the tool and the capabilities that it can do, as far as like efficiency and cost savings on creative production. On the flip side, someone's building an agent that sits on top of an HR hiring portal that, if you miss 1 out of 10 keywords, on your resume, you just get pushed into the no pile and it triggers that automatic email, if it even triggers an automatic email. Sometimes you don't even get that.
Right. So there's a lot of creative leaders. They bring value that always doesn't translate into a resume. What's the part of your experience, the leadership or creative thinking, that you wish employers could better see or understand?
I was actually speaking with a recruiter today, and one of the challenges that I face is that the businesses that do have open roles don't know that they even need someone like me. They don't even know someone like me with my particular skill set exists and can really help them if they would just get past the resume and, kind of read between the lines a little bit about, my experience may not translate, one-to-one with the role that they have open. I may cover certain parts of the responsibility, but I'm bringing along all of that other experience. Why wouldn't anyone want to take advantage of that? Yes, I can do what you're asking. Here's 3 other things that I can do really well that you didn't even know were questions that you should be asking.
And the sad part is, you're not getting that feedback, and you might have transferable skills that would be excellent for that position, but they don't see that. They don't understand it because they're looking for those keywords, right? So from your perspective as someone who has worked closely with teams and stakeholders, what do you think organizations sometimes overlook about the candidate experience?
Back when I started, you used to walk in, you would send in your paper resume, hopefully you get on the top of the stack, and they would call you in for an in-person interview where you're actually having a real live conversation. Once you get past that resume step, and now it's an AI bot, it's not even like a human scanning it. It's a robot with some parameters that it's tasked to look for. And, when I actually sit and read through a resume, there are things that I notice in it that I wouldn't have if I didn't pick it up and read it. So if the AI robot screener didn't even let it through, I never would have got to read it to see if it was even worthwhile to talk to the person. So I think it's just how inhuman the whole process has become. It's just, and I know it's kind of the age that we live in. Most interviews now are over Teams or Zoom or, Google Meet or one of the other online video conferencing. Humans, thrive on other human connection. It's funny when we all went remote during COVID, I would talk with my coworkers, and the one thing that we missed most was being in the office, standing around someone's desk, chatting about the family, about what was going on. Hey, did you watch the Patriots game this past weekend? Just that social interaction. And once you strip that out, once you strip the humanity out of the process, it's just cold and not a lot of fun to try and navigate.
It was tough during those times. We'd have get-togethers on Zoom. We'd have a Friday at 4:00. All right, everybody, just chime in. We'll send you a meeting notice, and the whole staff was online, saluting, having a little cocktail with each other, and how much we missed each other. And once we got back into the office, it was exciting. It was, wow, the team's back together. Let's get started. Let's get back to work. Because those few months or that year was horrible.
We had weekly Friday Zoom calls, my fraternity brothers, right? Some of us hadn't seen each other in 30 years. And, we would get 40 or 50 of us on the weekly calls, when everyone would have their drink of choice next to them. And, we even talked about making T-shirts, like our old party shirts back in the day. It was a tough time, but, like I said, it proved one thing. What I do can be done from anywhere. I don't need to be in an office. Human interaction, yes, is important, but, this job, it allows you to find talent no matter where they sit. You're not restricted to a geographic location anymore if people take advantage of it.
So looking forward with all the changes happening in hiring, what still gives you hope about the future of work, if anything?
Nothing beats a recommendation. I was speaking with a recruiter this morning. I was referred to her by a colleague that is working with her. And, he started that process 3 months ago, and they're just getting around to connecting with me. I wish it had happened 3 months ago, but, that's giving me some hope that something positive is going to come out of it, right? So, I've been talking with people about, some side projects, and maybe this is the time that I just kind of go consulting full time, right? If people don't want to commit to me for a full-time job, bring me in for 6 months, let me set you up, and then I leave. What you do with it after that, well, that's on you, but at least I can get you set up right. So, I'm having to reinvent myself a little bit, and, it's scary and exciting at the same time.
Carl, thank you so much for sharing your perspective and bringing the voice of creative leadership into this conversation. And if you're watching or listening and thinking, hey, that sounds like me, you're not alone. And if you want to share your story, email or send me a DM. And if you want to stay plugged into the real stories, real insights, and real humans behind today's hiring system, make sure to follow and subscribe for new episodes, shorts, and conversations every week. And if your organization believes in making hiring more human and wants to support conversations like this, we're currently opening a few sponsorship spots, so feel free to reach out. I'm Mark Lane, and This is Ghosted by the Machine. Behind every application, there's a human. Thanks again, Carl, for joining us. Let's make hiring human again.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate the time.